Hi guys and girls, this is Pete from dancemusicproduction.com, and in this video I'm going to start to create a deep house drum groove. I'm using Logic here, but the techniques will apply to any DAW. I'm doing this live and I haven't rehearsed this at all, so that's not because I'm lazy, that's so you can see my thought process on how I go about creating a drum loop. And I'm going to try and squeeze in as many techniques as I can in the next 15 minutes or so you can learn as much as possible. The way I like to work is have a sampler loaded up for each different instrument. So I have Phalanx here, and it's got 16 different kick drum samples in here. So each time I move up in pitch, it creates it plays a different sample. And this way I've already gone through and put in kick drums that I like into here, and I'm not spending hours and hours and hours surfing through my sample library to try and find a sound that fits, because that's just not creative and it will make you just want to turn off your computer and run away and do something else. So let's get started. I'm going to put a kick on every beat. And then go through, see if I can find a kick that I like, that I want to use for this track. I like that, so I'm going to stop there so I don't keep going and start second guessing myself. Another way I like to work is on the master bus. I put up Vox and Go Span, which is a free FFT analyzer, and I also put up the Vengeance scope, which is an oscilloscope, and I keep these on a different screen so you won't be able to see them when I put them up there, but I have a different screen above here and I keep them on there. This way, having these on my master, I can always see what my signal looks like, what my processing is doing, that sort of thing. And very important for kick drums especially, but most sounds, set into high res, and you can see this kick is right on G1. Put it back to default because high res uses a lot more CPU. And then I'm just going to put these out of the way. That's just a tip that I use all the time. I always have those two plugins on my master so I can see what's going on. So I'm just listening to the kick now, seeing if there's anything I'd like to add to it at this point. I might try putting on just a bit of bit crushing. I've updated Logic, so I've got the new interface for this. And just up to about 12-bit, see how that goes. Just bring the level down a little bit. I like that sound for this. Next up, I'm going to use this button. This button, if you don't use Logic, this duplicates the track down with all the exact same settings. So I'm going to get rid of the bit crusher for now. We might put it back. We'll see how we go. I'm going to load up a different bank in Phalanx. load bank, and let's go for an open hat. So again, same as the kicks, this is a phalanx patch or phalanx thing that I've loaded up with different open hats. Every change is a different open hat. Standard sort of thing, we'll put it on the offbeat. It's quite a nice sound already. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that one. I have phalanx set up so that it is triggered by MIDI length. So if I make this really short, on all of these, it's a lot shorter. So what we can do then is make some of these play a little bit longer. See? It just adds a difference. And I'm going to, on a send this out to bus 1. I'm going to put a reverb on there. I'm going to use a Valhalla room for this. Don't feel you need to use the same plugins. This is just, I'm going to go for plates, and I don't know, let's try the golden plate, see what that sounds like. Way too long, but that's okay. And I'm going to put on a gate after that reverb so that the reverb stops just before the next hit. And then I'm going to turn the reverb down. It just sits there, adds a little bit of ambience. Next, we'll label that. Next, I'll copy that down again, and this time we'll load up a clap. label the track. So same deal, whole bunch of different claps. See on the 2 and the 4. I think that works for me for this. I might layer it with another clap, more of a hand clap a bit later on. But for now, I like that. And I want to show you a technique here we can use to make our claps more interesting. It's called subliminal modulation, and I'm going to use pitch modulation for this. So what I'm going to do is click on this, set the pitch bend up to just 1 and down to just 1, and I'm going to use some pitch modulation just to add a very slight variation. Pull that up here, pitch bend. So we have no pitch bend. I'm going to leave the first one as is, but what I'm going to do for this one is miss the transient, so the very start of the clap, and go up in pitch to, if I go all the way up, that's 1 semitone, and then sweep back down over the length of the clap, so it sounds like this. And so what this does is it creates a very slight variation that your listener's not going to hear. They're not going to notice that, but it will mean that they can listen to the loop for longer because it's got those little subtle changes that your ears just want to pick up on. If we have it just as the 2 claps, they're going to turn off a lot quicker. Just shorten those to get rid of a bit of that reverb. Oh, it's because it's sent out. Because we copied it from before. My bad. I told you this was live. Probably do a little tiny bit of EQ in that clap just to roll off. Okay. Next up, I think I might want to add a little bit of a ghost clap to this. So I'm going to do this over 8 bars. I'm just going to copy these across. So now we have that same loop across all 8. And I'm going to copy this down. Call it ghost clap. And I'm going to ghost it on thinking the 2 and the 6 and maybe a bit of a roll in the 8. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to turn that off for now. And I'm going to turn the volume of this ghost clap down. See how that goes. Which clap are we using? That one. So I'll just cycle these 2 bars and get a feel. Thinking I was on the wrong octave. It's that kind of roll, but I want to get it off the grid so it grooves more. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So shorten it down. And I might use the EQ on this ghost clap just to lessen the high end just a little bit. Yeah. And then I'm gonna copy that to the 6 here. I want to miss out this 4 because I want to stop that kind of, you kind of expect it there, but if we don't put it there, the listener's caught off a little bit. And now I want to, in this bar, cycle over these 2 so I can get a feel. I want to create some kind of roll towards the end. So probably copy that there. Something see how that sounds. I think on here might work instead of there. Yeah, don't need that one, I think. So Got a nice kind of groove to it, and then can play with the velocity a little bit. Of these. So let's try turning that one down a little bit. A bit much. Down. Getting them off the grid just to add a groove to it. Think if I turn that to there. That sounds better. This clap here was washing over the start of this ghost clap, and it was just not working. So now we have this ghost clap working over the 8 bars. What I'm going to do here is just add on Sound Toys Echo Boy. I'm going to use this to add a little bit of width to the clap. It's a bit of stereo width. I set it in time, so not sunk to tempo. In time, somewhere around 35 milliseconds. $34.9. I'm going to copy that onto this one. I should have done it before, but it's alright. Echo Boy. Again, copy the same settings as this. To get the same width and feel on the clap. $34.9. Go. Now I just want to pull the reverb's volume down a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's add in a closed hat. Same deal. I'm going to duplicate this one actually. Pull the open hat down here. Closed hat. And on here, I'm going to pull up Phalanx, load up a close hat, see what we can find in here. Back to cycling over just one bar. Get rid of that for now. Turn that off for now. And I want to put this on here. And gonna zoom in a little bit so I can see. That one's working best for me, but I'm gonna tune it in with the groove. Just want to pitch this up a little bit. So I'm going to go into Phalanx. I think that actually works better. Now, I want to get rid of the transient so much, but first I just want to saturate this quite a bit. And I'm going to use Trash 2 for this. Trash 2 is quite a complex distortion unit, and we've just released a tutorial on all the ins and outs of this. But I'll just quickly go into Blues Driver. I think will give me what I want. I'm going to filter the input. To be a high pass. Level down. turn on the second stage of distortion, and okay, solo. I just want to take a tiny bit off the top end as well. Oops. Not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do, and you still shelf. Just get rid of some harshness in that. And I'm going to put a further high pass after that. Drop the level. And I'm going to use the transient designer to take off the front end of this. See the difference that makes? Just kind of push that towards the back. And finally, here's a great technique I want to show you. I'm going to use a modulated filter. I use Soundtoys Echo Boy. And what we're going to do is set this to rhythm, which is basically a synced LFO. Set it over maybe 4 bars. Sine. And we're going to set it to modulate, so it's slowly modulating. Get rid of this. Copy this to all our bars. A little bit of resonance. Just very slowly modulating. You don't really want to notice it at all. It just, like what we did with the clap, where we use the pitch modulation. We're using pitch bend modulation. We're using the filter here to slowly move in and out. And I'm going to send that to the same reverb. And I might actually add in some pitch modulation like what we did with the clap with that as well. So I'm going to pull up phalanx, we're on this one. So pitch bend, up and down, 1. Gonna probably over 2 bars. I'll see how it sounds. I'll start with 1. And I'm going to use our bender. Start with this one normal. Then this. Again, I like to miss the transient because if you pitch the transient, you can draw too much attention to it. So I'm then going to... So this one plays at normal. This one will play up a tiny bit. This one might play at normal. This one might play up a little further. Up, something like that. Maybe sweep down. What's that sound like? Maybe this one will put at almost. Almost 0. Something like that. This one not as high. And that way, like what we did with the clap, it creates a very subtle movement in tonality, and that will mean that your listener's not going to switch off as quickly to your loop. Just copy that with our pitch data across to there. So I'm conscious of time here. I'm grinding pretty long, but I want to... So I've duplicated this down. I'm going to add another closed hat, and we're going to see where we can put that. Gonna get rid of all of these. I'm going to turn off the send for now. Load bank. I'm going to load up different bank of closed hats. Cool. Where should we start? Let's see. Try that there. They might work better. And what we can do, firstly, pick a sound. I like that kind of groove. And then gonna add something in the second bar for it. Maybe just add a bit there. Copy those over the 4, but maybe change something in the 4th. Not sure what. Maybe add one there. That works. And then what we can do is quickly play with our velocities. Kind of up and then down, sort of thing. More like the first one this time. Then just gotta time those in a bit better. Logic seems to have just crashed on me. Oh, it came back. Save. Put those over to the 8 bars. Just gonna put on the transient designer like we did before. Might try and this would actually go there to kind of go with the ghost claps. Nah, I don't like that. Just want to put on and then just a bit of tape saturation from Decapitator. So I've gone a lot longer than I wanted to, but hopefully I've shown you some techniques you can apply to your own drum grooves. We used the subliminal modulation on the clap with the pitch modulation, where we used on the second clap, we used the pitch bend to pitch it down. We used that on the closed hat here as well, where we went up on the second one and then up even higher on the fourth one. And we also used on that hat the subliminal modulation with the very slow filter movements. Just over 4 bars going up and back down. These need to be timed in a bit better, but I hope you can kind of take away from this some of those techniques to apply to your own tracks, and always keep these guys on your master so you can see what's going on. If you like this, we have a whole 14-hour tutorial on Deep House over at dancemusicproduction.com, where we go much further into the techniques of the genre. And we've also just released a tutorial on the Isotope Trash 2 plugin, telling you everything about that plugin. So check us out at dancemusicproduction.com, and happy music making.